You didn't land in your family by a cosmic clerical error, you arrived on purpose. You've sensed it for years, a quiet mismatch, like you're tuned to a station no one else hears. You study their jokes, their rules, their moods still, the rhythm never fits. What if the mismatch is the map? What if you came to translate a language your lineage forgot to speak? Carl Jung's work points to a startling idea. We're not randomly placed. We're magnetized by an unseen agreement to meet what our line could not. Think of it as a soul assignment. Confront the patterns that outlived their makers. Does that make your heaviness make more sense? Does it explain why your oldest fear wakes first and sleeps last? You didn't arrive blank. You arrived stamped with echoes, quiet stories hiding in your reflexes. Not just memories, but muscle-learned habits. How you shrink, flare, freeze, appease. Picture an unseen rucksack stuffed with stones you never chose. A war no one named. A silenced dream. The tension of scarcity that taught elbows to clench. Families run on rules, spoken and unspoken. Some feelings get a seat at the table. Others are sent to the basement. What's exiled grows teeth in the dark. And here's the disruptive twist. The parts they banished are the parts you were born to embody. You weren't sent to maintain a fragile peace. You were sent to become the truth they negotiated away. Why do you feel more than others? Why do you notice the crack in the smile before the smile even forms? Some people numb the static. You detect the frequency. That's not failure, it's calibration. You're the one who names the elephant while the cutlery You're the one who cries at a news clip others call nothing. You're the one who asks, but is that actually true? While everyone nods. This is not a flaw. It's a role. Freedom isn't desertion. Freedom fulfills the assignment. Individuation, word for becoming who you are beneath the costume, means you disentangle from borrowed fears and rented ceilings. You realize, I am not their dread. I am not their limits. I am not the curator of their unfinished dreams. Emancipating, yes. Lonely, also yes. When you change the script, the system shakes. Some will misread your growth as defiance. Some will label you the problem. The test arrives. Can you keep walking when gatekeepers shake their keys? Can you belong to yourself when invitations to the old banquets stop arriving? Every clan carries a shared shadow, off-limits emotions, forbidden truths, gestures that cost love. As a child you learned which faces earned approval and which earned distance. So you hid the brightest ones. But hidden is not gone. Those offstage selves waited in the brush, listening for your call. Real change isn't spa music. It's a night sea crossing. You gather projections you threw at others, and you shoulder the task of your own life. Families mirror what we still avoid. The helplessness we condemn in a parent glows in our chest. The control we resent in a guardian is the same grip we use on ourselves. This isn't shame. It's the master key. When blame dissolves into ownership, the chain thins. Imagine how many generations carried this bruise without language. They survived. You are the one who can metabolize. Healing moves forward and backward. Your work edits the future and dignifies the past. Coincidence or choreography? You were born now with this awareness for a reason. Your sensitivity is not a hazard sign. It's a lighthouse. The path home runs through strange country, fear valleys, grief rivers, lonelier deserts. Along the way you'll hear voices, gratefulness, tests, belonging, threats, unity sermons at the altar of silence. They sound like love. Often they are only fear wearing family clothes. This courage costs the illusion of membership. It costs the safety of Maslow. But here's the crossroads. Will you trade conditional approval for unconditional self-regard? Standing alone is not the same as being abandoned. There's a sacred solitude where your true voice relearns its name. At first it's a whisper, tender, then it steadies. That inner voice doesn't choreograph your performance. It calibrates your compass. It shows which weights were never yours. It helps you peel masks one by one until only you remain. And then something shifts. You meet the center of youth, a quiet nucleus beneath every costume. Not ego, essence. It doesn't need a spotlight. It provides one. Maybe warmth was scarce. Maybe safety had terms. Maybe silence was the price of staying. And yet, those conditions taught you night vision. They forced you to become the guide you were waiting for. Most harm wasn't malice. It was inheritance. People act out what they can't face. That doesn't excuse it. It explains the weather you grew in. Paradox. The same house that cracked you also carved you. Not by the gifts offered, but by the absences that pushed you to grow new roots. The pain taught what comfort couldn't. Jung suggested that every wound is a doorway. If you stop sprinting from it and step through, it becomes a bridge. Stop waiting for a retroactive childhood. Stop waiting for the apology that drafts itself but never sends. Wait long enough and you'll mortgage the future to refinance the past. Your liberty begins when you accept that they might never change and that your becoming does not require their permission. There comes a day you drop the performance. You stop proving. You stop rehearsing worthiness. You start living. In Jung's terms, life flips into its opposite. What looked like weakness becomes the strong key. Sensitivity becomes pattern sight. Vulnerability becomes access. Otherness becomes a doorway. The thing you hid is the lantern you need. Wholeness isn't polish. It's inclusion. You learn to welcome anger, grief, fear, and shame to the table without letting them cook the meal. You integrate, not annihilate. You're not here to be the family thermostat. You're here to be yourself, warmth included. Healing is not a one-way escalator. Some days you feel complete. Then a scent unlocks a room you forgot to empty. That's not failure, that's the work showing you where to turn the light next. You begin to see your parents as humans in old weather, not giants or villains. You can forgive without returning, release without scorning. Forgiveness isn't a reunion, it's a reclamation. Remaining asleep, we repeat what hurt us. Waking up, we retire the pattern. You become the first link that doesn't pass the bruise forward. That is rebellion against inevitability. That is love aimed at tomorrow. Your descendants won't know the name of what you ended, only the space you made. Recognition may never arrive. Celebration may never come. But you didn't start for applause. You started because you refused to make your life a museum of unfinished business. And someone after you will walk lighter, never knowing why the road is smooth. From childhood on, you learned the costume that earned nods. The persona becomes second skin, so familiar you forget the body beneath it. Eventually, the suit shrinks. Breathing requires Solitude greets you at the threshold, not barren, but brimming, full of your voice, full of your compass, full of the center that doesn't bargain. In that silence, you remember what you sought in them lives in you. You are not auditioning for love, You are love, discovering itself. You stop pouring fuel into pleasing. You pour it into living. You stop asking, am I enough? You start answering, I am. The path asks for trade-offs. The false safety of sameness, the smoothness of fitting in, the peace that costs your honesty. In return, you receive your face, your spine, your life. This is the myth road, descending into the family underworld to retrieve what was buried, your own gold. Piece by piece, you reclaim scattered parts, the voice that learned to whisper, the anger that learned to disguise itself as cheerfulness, the joy that learned to hide until it was safe. With every return, you assemble a life that can hold you. And maybe, one day, you'll look back and bless the paradox. They forced me to find what I would never have searched for. You were not born to suffer on repeat. You were born to awaken, to transform, to grow beyond the outline. By becoming yourself, you complete the contract your soul accepted. If this spoke to you, stay with this work. Like the video and subscribe to Mind Alchemy so we can keep traveling this inner terrain together. Tell me in the comments, what pattern are you ready to retire and what truth are you ready to live?